Oh man. Oh man. Oh yeah. It's showtime, baby. It is showtime. Oh man. Mm. Oh man. It's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. It's showtime. Yes. Welcome to the DAN show where we're going to go ahead and break down the points. Actually, it's going to be the over under of all 16 AFC teams. Before I get going here's how the show's going to go. Hey, look, I don't need a script. I don't need questions. I don't need comments. I don't need anything. I could literally just turn on a camera and talk football for hours on end. I mean, I love football that much. It's the only thing I do. But this is a really, really good show. I'm going to break down the entire AFC over-unders. I'm going to break down the teams that I'm going to bet on. I'm going to Iowa this weekend to put some action down on week one and some over-unders. And here's the thing. This is why you follow me, is because I actually put my money where my mouth is. I tell you what I'm going to do. You're going to see the actual bet slip. I'm going to have to blur some sections out, and I'll have to figure that out. But you're going to see how much I win or how much I lose this football season. I'm going to keep a running tally. I'm going to keep everybody up to date. Hey, Mike's the first one in, and Mike, you know what? I was going to wait, do like a little intro, but I'm going to say it now. You're the reason that makes the show great. It's not what you say so much as that you counter. You know, you had a great comment. I got Life is a Gamble here too. This is awesome. It's great when I get comments that give me a thumbs up that say, hey, you're doing a great job and everything. But when I get people that counter what I say, that's what really is good. Like your comment about sleeping on the Tampa Bay Bucks. And that's the whole point of doing this. And that's the reason why I hope that people watch that share this, because I want to get different opinions here. I want to get people that say, hey, look, Dan, I know you're saying this, but I think this over here. That's what makes it great. So, Mike and Pete are in the house, man. This is great. Some NFL news I want to go over real fast. Being a Chiefs fan, Andy Reid and Brett Veach are signed through 2025. One thing, am I sweating, man? Damn, I'm hot. All that coffee. Right before the show, I slammed an energy drink. I got coffee and water here. I'm jacked up. I am very jacked up. Okay, let me rephrase this. This is big news. This is great news. Andy Reid is going to walk into Canton's as soon as he retires. I'm not sure he finishes out the whole contract, and I heard that, Belichick's 67. He's still going strong. Bill Belichick and Andy Reid have two different type of workout regimens, okay? Bill Belichick is probably in better shape than 90% of the world. Andy Reid is not. If you put a gun to my head and you say, hey, is Andy Reid going to finish out the whole contract now? I'm going to say no. But over the next couple of years, are the Chiefs going to be one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NFL? Absolutely. So big news and congratulations to Brett Veach and Andy Reid. Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals running back, a guy I am extremely high on. I went and helped a friend out with fantasy football. I said, Joe Mixon, you cannot take this guy high enough, especially if you're in a PPR league. Mixon got a 4-year, $48 million extension. Good move for Cincinnati Bengals, a team I think that's doing a lot of the right things. I'll talk about them a little later on here. Life is a Gamble. You're 100% correct. I'm going to talk about the Chiefs here. I'm going to break down all 16 AFC teams. Derwin James, the superstar safety for the Chargers, is going to be out for the season. This is a huge loss for the Chargers. This is one of the best players in football. I think the best player on the Chargers, you want to argue it's Nick Bosa. Fine, I understand that, but this is a major loss. Really good football player. It's a damn shame. Yannick Ngakoue, and I'm butchering the name. I am sorry about that. He was traded to Minnesota for a 2021 second-round pick and a conditional fifth in 2022. if you followed last week's show, how does this affect the spread? Well, it's kind of interesting because Green Bay and Minnesota were tied at plus 150 to win the North. Now Minnesota's favored at plus 140. Green Bay's now plus 190. Green Bay's over-under went from 9.5 to 9. Right now, Green Bay's plus 105 at over 9. I actually really like that. I didn't like 9.5. Which is going to sound a little crazy, but I like 9. I might take Green Bay up on that. The funny thing is with Minnesota is that the over-under didn't change. It's still at 9, but instead of negative 130, it's currently negative 110. I might take action on both of those teams. And then something that I'm really surprised about, and if somebody wants to bring this up and offer their opinion, I'd love to hear it, but I was shocked Leonard Fournette just got cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And when I break down Jacksonville's point spread, you're going to see the repercussions of that, because that's a big deal. This is a really good running back. Questions about where he's going to go. First team that popped in my mind was the Chargers. They kind of an old school offense. Buffalo, maybe that would also be a good fit. As of right now, I don't think he's signed. He's a really, really good running back. I really am surprised Jacksonville just went ahead and cut him. I know that they weren't really happy with him, but so listen, hey, before I start breaking down all 16 AFC teams, if you live in the greater Kansas City area and you need your home cleaned, Quartz Cozy Cleaning is where to go. I'm going to put the link down here below. She's just getting her business started. She's cheaper than the big time competitors and much better. Normally, I don't promote businesses that I don't use myself, but I've known Courtney for a long time. She named her daughter after me. Bottom line, you name your kid after me, I promote you on my show. I promote you on my show here. Let's get some comments here. Life is a gamble. Yeah. Excuse me, man. Need more coffee. I'm sitting here sweating. Drinking coffee here. Yeah. Green Bay and 9, especially at plus 105. Plus 105 at 9. I love that. Remember, they were 13-3 last year. No, he doesn't. This is a big reason why I like Fournette. A lot of people think Austin Eckler. He had, if I remember right, I want to say he had about 200 touches last year. He may not have even had that, but it was 93 receptions. He's not running back. He's a slot receiver. Why the Chargers did not pick up running back is beyond me. Mike confirmed nobody's picked him up yet, and that surprises me. That really, really surprises me. Leonard Fournette is a really good talent, but there's something going on. There's something going on. But I am very surprised about that. Now, here we go. I am going to share my screen here. Let's not do that here. I am going to start. Now, I'm taking away all the talent here, but it's important that you guys see this here. And I'm going to hide this comment, and I'm going to hide my banner here. Don't forget, by the way, you can always email me at thedanshow@yahoo.com. I'm going to release all my bets on a video. I'm going to try to have this Sunday at noon. That's the plan right now. I'm definitely going to have something before the start of the season. That way you can see what I'm actually putting my money down on. I'm going to go ahead and get the whole screen up here. And here's what you're looking at. You have the Buffalo Bills at number 9, that's the over-under for the year. So the over-under for the Buffalo Bills is 9. The negative 140 is the odds for the Bills to win the division. So if you have to wager $140 to win 100. So what this means is that the Bills are heavy favorites to win the AFC East. Do I agree with this? The answer is no, I do not. I actually got New England. So, oh, man. Tim, this is a great question. You know what? I'll answer this now. I'm going to interrupt because bottom line, if you have a comment, you have a question, I have an answer. Do I think Jacobs leads the league in rushing? The answer is no, I do not. But that's not a bad idea. Who would I think? If I had to say who's going to lead the league in rushing, I'll give you the obvious answer. That's Saquon Barkley. The reason why is that you have Jason Garrett going up to the Giants. I think Barkley's a better talent than Ezekiel Elliott. That would be the guy I would go ahead and pick to win the Russian title. If you want to go with Nick Chubb for the Browns, who really should have won it last year, I wouldn't hate that. But I mean, he's going to split time with Kareem Hunt. If you want to say Derrick Henry, I don't know about that. But as far as Jacobs, it's not bad. It's not bad, but the answer is no. I would not take that bet. But it wouldn't surprise me if he has about 1,300 yards rushing. And man, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I really like New England to win the division here. Now with the Bills, the over-under for 9 is -120 for the over, under for the even. How do I feel about this? I don't know, because the schedule's difficult. They were a 10-win team last year. I think they did get better last year, but I could easily see this team dropping to 9-7 and being better. I do like over. I don't like -120, so I'm definitely not putting action on it. As far as the under, if you want to say under, I mean, do you really think the Bills are going to be 8-8? I don't think so. I would avoid taking the Bills. At taking them to win the division at -140 is not a smart bet. I like New England to win the division. And this, by the way, just increased. So if you like the Patriots to win the AFC East, you bet $100, you win 180. I actually think that's a solid bet. Excuse me. God, I'm so excited here, man. This is not a bad bet. This is not a bad bet to win the AFC East, plus 180. $100 to win you 180. I really like this bet, but this is the best one. New England to win over 9 games is plus 110, and I've been keeping an eye on this. When I broke down the Patriots a few weeks ago, this line was taken down. Now, the last time the Patriots didn't have Tom Brady was, remember, Matt Castle came in, they went 11-5. Cam Newton's better than Matt Castle. I'm not a Cam Newton fan. I want to be very clear. I'm not a Cam Newton fan, but is he better than Matt Castle? The answer is yes. Is this team talented enough to win 9 games? Yes. I like the Patriots to win the AFC East, but of all the bets that you can make for the AFC East, this is easily the best one. This is a big number. Ooh. Man, you know what, Tim? You started something here, man. This is a great topic. Dalvin Cook, rushing title. You know, that's actually a good player. You know what? Here's the problem with Dalvin Cook. Can he stay healthy? The offensive line's better. I'm really high on Minnesota. The Yannick, I'm going to butcher the name. I think that makes them the favorite to win the division. Dalvin Cook to win the rushing title, man. I don't hate it. I really don't. I think it's better than Jacobs, but you probably get better odds with Jacobs. By the way, I do think highly of Jacobs. So I don't want you to think I don't like Jacobs. I think he's a good running back. I just think that the Raiders and the type of offense they're going to run, I don't think that they're going to give him enough carries to actually win the rushing title. Dalvin Cook, if healthy, remember he tried to hold out. So Miami, 10-1 odds to win the AFC East. This is, by the way, this is a little unusual because the Jets are at 6.5. They're over under 6.5, but they're 12-1 favorites. Miami's at 6, but they're 10-1. This is very unusual. So if you do like Miami to win the division, which I do not, 10-1 odds is bad. So let's just say you get a wild hair and you're like, hey, I want a long shot. I don't recommend this. I was all over Miami over 6, especially the way they ended the division, but their schedule is difficult. And all those draft picks are projects in one way or another. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me that I am so, oh God, I'm having the biggest brain fart of all time. And he was my number 1 quarterback. I am very, very embarrassed about this right now. I can't believe I just forgot his name. Man, I am messing up today. Tua. Okay, man. All right, so if Tua's healthy, he would have been my number 1 quarterback. He's coming off an injury. You can't count on him for this year. The other draft picks in the first and second round are all projects in one way or another. I was really high on Miami. Now I'm kind of like, but negative 135. Yeah, I had just every now and then I get a brain freeze. Every now and then, yeah. Tua, I quit. I'm embarrassed to admit that, man. Here I am. I'm doing a TV show talking about football, and I had a brain freeze on Tua. Jeez, and Tagovailoa. I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, I should have known better. I don't like the over for Miami. Not a good number. Even if I did like over 6, which I don't. Under. This is a talented team. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would definitely take the under versus the over because I like the plus 115 better than the plus 135. This is a talented Dolphins team, but I think that what they're doing is they're really looking at 2021. They're going to get Tua a year under Fitzpatrick. He maybe Tua starts midseason. I don't know, but this is a year that they're just kind of building a base. So if I would avoid the Dolphins like the plague, but if you are going to take a bet on them, the 115, the Jets, the over under 6.5, 12-1 favorites to win the East. Very, very big long shot, but there's a better long shot later on, so I'm gonna bring that up here. The over under is the same; it's negative 110. There's not been a lot of variation on this. The thing is with the Jets is that they actually have some talent. I am very high on Sam Darnold, and they invested a lot of draft capital and free agent money on the offensive line. So this is a team I think could really surprise. If you put a gun to my head and say I'm avoiding the Jets like the plague, but if I had to choose, I would actually take the over. I really think the Jets are better than Miami. That's why I kind of like the 12-1 better than the 10-1. There's always a team that goes first to worst, but if you have to pick one, I don't think the Jets or Miami are ready. So let me see here. Bush or tackles. Man, Tim, you're under that prop bet. You know what? I haven't seen any prop bets in Iowa. That is not a bad prop bet. That is not a bad prop bet at all. What's his name? Who Jacksonville signed to a big year deal. That would be a guy you may also want to keep an eye on. Leads the league in tackles as well. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. I'm doing bad with names early on, but I have the internet at my fingertips. What's his name? They signed him from Cleveland. I know that. Oh, Sherbert. Yeah, that would be another guy. And that's not a big name either. But Bush, I'm very high on Bush. I love what teams are doing. Roquan Smith, linebacker for Chicago, is another guy, probably lead the league in tackles. Had 123 in like 14 games, so that's another name. On to the AFC North here. The over-under for the Baltimore Ravens is 11.5. Negative 200 to win the division, which means that you have to wager $200 just to win 100. Do I think Baltimore wins the division? Yes, I do. I really do. I'm a little surprised that over 11.5 is plus 105. This is actually not a bad bet. This is a 14-2 team that got better. Okay. 11.5 is a huge number. But I really, if I'd say over or under on the Ravens at 11.5, I'm definitely picking over because I could see them being a double. I could see the Ravens being 12-4 easy. And at plus 105, this number's a good number. Again, 11.5 is a big number. It's not something I would really recommend, but that's kind of what I see. Here, I'm gonna post this here, man. Ooh, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly. Life is a gamble. You have it better. You worded it better than I did, but Joe Sherbert for Jacksonville. That's a guy who would lead the league in tackles. That's a guy who would lead the league in tackles because they have a bad defense. And when I talk about Jacksonville, you're going to be blown away by how much, at least I was, of how much Fournette leaving had an effect on this team. But let's finish up the the North here. This is a great point here. This is gold, man. By the way, life is a gamble. This is gold. This is exactly why I want people on here. So, hey, by the way, I'll take this off of here, that way you can read it on the comments. But by the way, I've never been to Miami. I've been to Florida several times. Love it. So you guys are in a good area. You're in a good area. I'm not going to comment. Everything is going around. It's not that type of show. But if you are thinking that the Ravens are going to finish less than 11 wins, you think they're going to be 11-5 and worse, you have to wager $125 to win 100. This is not a good bet. Even if you're not as high on the Ravens as I am, I strongly recommend you don't take this. Pittsburgh is at 9 plus 320 to win the division. This is actually not terrible, but I don't see them being better in Baltimore, so I wouldn't take plus 320. The over 9 is negative 145, which is a very high number. I don't recommend this at all. Even if you think that Pittsburgh's definitely going to win 10 games or more, I would not recommend taking this number, negative 145. If you do any sort of betting online, I guarantee you can find a better number than negative 145. It's a solid bet. Now, I'm going to Iowa. This is where I'm going to put my action. I updated everything right before I started the show, so you got up-to-the-date information, but this is all extremely fluid. This is all changing from day to day. So if you're doing any online betting, you find better odds, let me know where. But I do think Pittsburgh definitely finishes over 9. I would never take negative 145. I don't see them finishing 8-8. I just don't. But if you think so, something happens, plus 125 is a good number. Cleveland at 8.5. Tim, if you're still here, man, I gotta know if you still love the Browns, man. I think that this is the team that should be hyped up, not last year's team. Plus 500 to win the division. Again, I would not take that, but over under is negative 110 for each. If you think that the Browns are going to have a winning record, that's up to you. I do think they're loaded with talent. I definitely would take them to do the under. My betting against the Browns, there's a strong possibility I might put a little bit of action down. This is a talented team. But the organization top to bottom, you have a first-year head coach. They're bringing in a new system. I did not like the hire. I think they should have gone with the experienced coach. I think it should have been Ron Rivera. He could have reunited with Delks, who was his former defensive coordinator in Carolina. He took over, had that 1 year in Arizona. Then he went back to then he took over as defensive coordinator in Cleveland. If Riviera would have went to Cleveland, he could have kept some continuity there on defense. But anyway, I might put action down on this. More than likely not, but this is a safe bet. That, if you're a fantasy football guy, I was at a fantasy football draft to help out my buddy this weekend, and I told him, as far as fantasy football, the Steelers are the number one defense as far as fantasy football is concerned, because they led the NFL in sacks over the last 3 years. They're strong against the run. Devin Bush, as my boy Tim mentioned, is a stud. I really like this guy. And then, you mentioned if Big Ben stays healthy, of course, that's the key. If he stays healthy, this is a playoff team. If not, then under 9 all day long. You do have to worry about his health. I don't know if they're the toughest. But you are 100% correct on the Browns. That's why I don't want to bet against them, because they have so much talent. They have so much talent. You got Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. You got the best tackle in the draft. You also got a good tackle on the other side. You got 2 Pro Bowl running backs. You got 2 Pro Bowl receivers. You have talent on the defense. Man, Alex, man, I'll be honest, man. I don't know you, man. I'm glad you're here. But you are 100% correct. You are 100% correct. By the way, Tim is a Browns fan. He's got a little Chiefs skull there, but he's a Browns fan. Alex, I'm going to leave. Well, actually, Alex, I'm going to take this comment. Great, man. I've never heard from you before. Great to see you. You are 100% correct. Bengals. If you think that they can win the division, and there are some Bengals, you're not going to believe me when I say this. I went on a Bengals channel just doing the same thing you guys did with this great comment that Alex put in here. And there were Bengals fans that are saying that 11-5, 12-4 are going to win the division. No, this team's going to be a dumpster fire this year. 25-1 odds to win the division. There's always a team that goes worst to first. This is not going to be one of them. Over at negative 145, I don't get it. I don't get this at all. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. If you have to bet on the Bengals, they have more talent. They have enough talent to win 6 games. I don't think they will. I think this is actually a pretty safe bet. You have a rookie quarterback with no offseason, no OTAs. His backup's a second-year quarterback. Joe Mixon just signed a big deal. He's going to help a lot of people win a lot of fantasy football championships. But I really feel like this is a solid bet, positive 125 to win under 5.5 games. Remember, 5-11 for the Bengals could be considered a success if Burrow steps up and everybody stays healthy. This team does have some talent, but this is a solid bet. This is definitely a solid bet. We're going to go to the AFC South here. And Indianapolis is favored to win this division, which I'll be honest, I am very surprised at. And you see some notes there on the side here. I'm going to bring up all this stuff here. The over-under for them is 9. This is a very high number. This means that this could jump up to 9.5. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that would be right. 9.5. If you think Indianapolis is favored to win the division, I understand why. I don't like even odds. So even if you do think that they're going to win the division, I would avoid taking this bet. Over 9, yeah, I could definitely see that. I 100% could see that. Negative 170 is not good. And Mike, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but there's a world of difference, even in the SEC to an NFL defense. I'm not exaggerating when I say this too. That the weapons that he has at LSU is going to be better than what he has at Cincinnati, and that's even with AJ Green and John Ross and Tyler Boyd. I mean, and Joe Mixon. I mean, he still has. He's just going to drop down in talent. I mean, even the best quarterbacks, your rookie years, don't play well. And what I really don't like about it is that he doesn't have a veteran presence. Patrick Mahomes, for example, has credited Alex Smith in that year on the bench. But you know what, Mike? This is also the reason why I would not bet against the Bengals. You're right. You're right. Boa and Tua. You know what's funny, Alex, is he's already accepted a job in 2021 to be a high school football coach for a school in Alabama, high school in Alabama. So he's already accepted a position for 2021. So I'm going to come back here. I want to show your comments here. Yeah, you guys are 100% correct. There's a lot of pocket presence for these guys, but how you perform in the SEC and how you perform in the NFL are two totally different and separate things. So I really think that a preseason would have been big for both of these guys. That's why I think both these guys will have a shaky year this year. Tua may not even see the field. Burrow's starting day 1. As far as Rivers here, he's only signed a 1-year deal. Frank Reich, the head coach, has said that he plans on bringing him back. Rivers has already accepted a job. Now, keep in mind, it's a high school football job, so it's not that big of a deal, but it will be interesting to see what happens. Tennessee to win the division is at plus 190. The over-under for wins is 8.5. Now, remember, they were 9-7 last year. They signed Tannehill to a nice contract. They also signed Derrick Henry to a nice offseason deal. I think Derrick Henry got like $50 million. Tim, I posted this for a big reason. Jonathan Taylor is my dark horse for NFL MVP. Not regular, not rookie of the year, NFL MVP. He's playing behind a huge offensive line for Indianapolis. Keep in mind, because you got Phillip Rivers, he's a gunslinger, so you can't put 7-8 in a box. So Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to have a huge year. Huge year. You know what? His number one target's going to be that guy out of, man, I'm bad on names today, man. I am really off on names today. The kid out of USC. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Michael Pittman. Okay, that's it. Michael Pittman. Junior is probably going to be the number one receiver, not T.Y. Hilton. And then let's see what else we got here. Don't rule out Jonathan Taylor. I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Taylor takes some snaps away. Life is a gamble. I'm pulling for you, man. I am pulling for you. I'm 100% pulling for you. But I really think Jonathan Taylor's going to take some touches away. I really do. But this is the whole point of the show, man, is to talk football, get some opinions from some different people. I'm pulling for you. Marlon Mack, remember that big game he had against the Chargers week 1? Remember that big game he had? So Tennessee, if you like over 8.5, which I do, by the way. I think that they're a 9-7 team. I think they got better. They could easily be 9-7 again this year. It's just -140 is not a good number. If you think the Titans are going to be 8-8 plus 120, of course, is a good number. I would not recommend this at all. This is something that I really, really want to talk about. The Houston Texans over under is 7.5. Is 7.5. I'm going to talk about this here. To win the division is plus 350. Just less than a month ago, the over 7.5 wins, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, 8-8, August the 8th. The over 7.5 wins for the Houston Texans was -130. The under is plus 110. So Tennessee, honestly, and I'm talking Dolphins. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because I just glossed right over that. I like that he replaced Mariota. Tennessee had to move on from Mariota, but what makes people think that Ryan Tannehill is a franchise quarterback? Because he came in and had 9 good games with a running back that had 3 consecutive 200-yard games. And do you know what he did? I think he threw like 29 attempts in those 2 playoff victories. Don't get me wrong. If you want Tannehill to play ball control, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here. This is why I hate PFF. PFF said that Tannehill was their number 1 quarterback last year. If you think Tannehill was better than Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, you just suck. You just suck. And life is a gamble. You're right. You're right. I actually agree with you. I 100% agree with you, because the Texans are my favorite to win this division. But right now, if you want over 7.5 wins, you can get plus 110. This is my number 1 bet. When I like I said, less than a month ago it was -130, and I was like, man, I'm not going to wager $130 to win 100, but am I going to wager $100 to win 110 on 7.5? Oh, hell yeah. I got some great comments in here. Exactly. This is why I don't follow PFF. I 100%. Yeah. You're Alex. I have no idea where you came from, man. This is just freaking gold. You are 100% correct. Dallas, if you watched my video last week, Dallas is switching from a Tampa 2 defense to a 3-4 defense, or they're going to have a defensive coordinator who, by the way, hasn't coached since 2014, go and run a Tampa 2 defense when he runs a 3-4. They're two completely and separate defenses. The Mike McCarthy offensive scheme is complex with a lot of back shoulder throws, which you need practice to do. And by the way, if they're sold on the quarterback, they would have signed him this offseason to a big extension. They're not sold on him. The Cowboys under 10 is a solid bet, and you are 100% correct, Alex. Gold here. Well, you know what? I do cuss occasionally. The video's for plus 18, but I do try to keep it clean. I think so too, Mike. I think so too. There are some positives to his game. He's a big guy. He can run. He's got a big arm. He can execute that play action. But let me ask you something. Let me say you're a diehard Titans fan. Okay, you're a diehard Titans fan. Scores 24-7 in the fourth quarter. What are the odds of winning that game? Because you need Tannehill to throw the ball. None. That's what the odds are. You winning that game? None. You know, bottom line. Do you want them? Here's the thing. Let's say Tannehill has to throw 50 times in order to win the game. No. But handing off to Derrick Henry, doing some play action, yeah, you can protect him. You can protect him. I do agree with this. I want to see how well he plays. By the way, I'm going to talk about this a little more next week when I do the show next Wednesday, because we're going to talk about Chiefs and Texans. But life is a gamble. David Johnson could have a big game at Arrowhead. Could have a big game. That's the whole thing, is that if you have that's the whole thing I liked about Tannehill taking over last year. But since you gave him big money, he's got to play big. So sometimes teams do this. They give a quarterback big money, then they want to go ahead and prove it. So they try to get more passing type of offense. The Titans ideally throw the ball 20 times a game. And Derrick Henry runs 30. And you can't do that. You can't have that type of a balance. Remember, they drafted a running back from, I don't remember his name, he's out Appalachian State, who ideally has about 250 touches this year. But bottom line, if you have to have Tannehill throw the ball 50 times a game, you're going to lose that game. Man, Alex, you're just spitting gold here, man. Dude, where have you been, my brother? No, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. When the Chiefs beat the Titans in the AFC Championship game, Titans jumped out to a 17-7 game lead. But when the Chiefs got the lead, when the Chiefs got the lead, the Chiefs stopped the run, and Titans couldn't throw the ball. And that's why. That's why. Oh, okay. All right. You're big. Man, I'm a Chiefs fan, so don't be offended there. But I'm going to break down the Chiefs Texans game in a lot of detail next week. So I hope you come back. I love your Texans. I'm going to put action down on over 7.5. This is as far as the AFC is concerned, this is my number one bet by far. They are my favorites to win the AFC South. However, I'm not going to put action on that. However, plus 350 is not bad. Again, under 7.5 just less than a month ago was plus 110. Now it's negative 130. Somebody put a lot of action down on the Texans, and they put the action down on the under. That's how that works. Jacksonville is now a 25-1 favorite to win the division. They were 12-1. Then they traded, or they cut Leonard Fournette. So this is how much this is. Believe it or not, it didn't affect over and under numbers at all. But the odds of them winning the division went from 12-1 to 25-1. And this happened. I had the 12-1 number Monday. So this happened. This was clearly just due to Fournette. I would have said that Jacksonville would be my number one choice to go from worst to first because they did make some small changes on the defense. I think their defense could be surprisingly good. Joe Sherbert, he could easily lead the NFL in tackles, but without Fournette, I don't see it. If you have to pick a team in the AFC to go worst to first, man, I don't know. Do you want to go with Miami? I would probably say out of the four teams, Cincinnati's not going to do it. Jacksonville, I don't see without Fournette can't do it. I'm not buying the Chargers, at least not in the loaded AFC West. I would probably say Miami. So you did. You actually did. I blamed the fake punt. Do you remember the fake punt? You if I remember, it was 24-7, and you ran the fake punt in Chiefs territory. The Chiefs, Dirty Dan, made the tackle. 2 plays later, it's 24-14. And are you talking about the fake punt? Yeah. I 100%. I'm gonna tell you something, man. You're right. You guys are just spitting gold here, man. I don't even need to talk. I mean, this is good. This is good. Yeah. This is some great stuff, man. This is some great stuff, man. Gold, just gold here, man. All right, now let's break down the AFC West, break down my Chiefs. I am really confident that the Chiefs are going to win this division. All right. I am a Chiefs fan. I made a lot of money betting on the Chiefs last year. I would not take a negative 390. Okay. That is a silly bet. Last year, I made a lot of money on over 10.5. I was really hoping to get 11. This, by the way, just changed as of today. This was negative 115. Now it's negative 120. I think more. And Alex, you're again, gold. That was actually, you know what? I'm going to go on a tangent here. I got to ask you, Alex. Mike, I'm going to post that comment here. Mike, I'm going to post that here in a second. Alex, I got to ask you. Every Texans fan I have talked to hates Bill O'Brien. I mean, it's like, I'm serious. It's like if you're in a room with the person who created AIDS and cancer, Adolf Hitler, and Bill O'Brien, like Texans fans would kill Bill O'Brien first. Like, is it true? Like, you guys just hate Bill O'Brien with a passion? I gotta ask, because no Texans fan I've met even remotely close to likes this guy. I think he's actually done a good job. I think he's done a good job. I disagree about the Jets. I think they really, really like Darnold, but Jacksonville has 2 first-round picks, and now they have 2 second-round picks. You're right. If they don't tank for 2, if they don't tank for Trevor Lawrence, who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. We're not going to talk draft stuff yet, but he will be the first pick in the draft. So, I would not be surprised if Jacksonville gets first pick in the draft. This is not a bad number. 11-5. Remember, the Chiefs were only 12-4 last year. I will tell you this: the Chiefs' schedule is easy. Life is a gamble, man. I'm telling you right now, man. This is how. By the way, thanks, Alex. This is gold here. This is what most people think about Bill O'Brien. He is okay. Well, that's interesting. Here's the thing: Texans fans hate Bill O'Brien more. He is, I think, out of all 32 NFL head coaches, Bill O'Brien is easily the most hated. And I'll be honest with you, Alex, I don't see why. This guy can get you to the playoffs. I mean, take it from somebody who had the first overall pick. Well, you guys, had some bad years too. I get that, but I mean, I remember you guys. What was it? 2013, 2014. You ended up with Clowney. I know you guys probably miss Clowney if you could stay healthy, but yeah, I'm really surprised because he's easily the most hated head coach in the NFL, and I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's great. I mean, I got Andy Reid, but he's easily the most hated head coach in the league. Next is the Chargers, and I'm going to admit I normally cannot get enough of Hard Knocks. I I haven't even finished the first episode. I started watching the second one. I can't get into it, and normally I just cannot get enough of football. The whole dual teams going back and forth, all the COVID training that they do. I can't get into it. Apparently, a lot of people like it. They're I think the Chargers are going to finish dead last. I really do. I think they're going to finish dead last. Over 8 is -125. Under 8 is plus 105. This hasn't changed, even though Derwin James is out for the year. I'm probably going to put action on this. Under 8, I think it's a no-brainer. This is a 5-11 team that lost Melvin Gordon and Phillip Rivers and your best player in Derwin James. And keep in mind, Derwin James didn't play last year except for the last couple of games. Golden Rooster! This is my boy right here. Man, I you know what, man? I wish I would have had you on last week. I went over your Falcons, and I've been preaching the Falcons. Matter of fact, Mike told me not to sleep on Tampa Bay, but the thing is, man, is that I'm really high on your Falcons, man. I'm really high on their Falcons. And you know what? That's a good question. I'm not sure who the Bucs quarterback is. Nobody's really talking about it, but if I find out, I will let you know, because Golden Rooster's here for the cocaine and Molly. I love this. I'm going to leave this up here just for a little bit. Even though I'm trying to keep this family friendly, we can leave this up just for a second here, man. Golden Rooster, it is damn good to see you. All right, the Vegas Raiders here. Oh man, yeah, we got. You know what? I will say this. I have a small channel. I have, without question, some of the best subscribers. I firmly mean this, that if you're a subscriber to the DAN show, you're one of the greatest people on planet Earth. I got some great people here. Jimmy Stoneful, who has not tuned in yet, he had some action online. He took the Eagles to win the NFC East at plus 122, if I remember right. I want to say it was Bovada. I haven't heard from him yet, but man, I've got some great people here, including Golden Rooster, who's here for the cocaine and Molly. The Vegas Raiders, are they ready to compete for the AFC West? Not this year, but next year. This is a team that is definitely putting everything together. I'm not 100% sure. Their schedule is tough, but I do like over 105. I actually think that the Raiders do make the wild card spot. They're not going to challenge Kansas City. Okay, they're not going to challenge Kansas City for the AFC West. But do I think that it's definitely a possibility that the Raiders make the playoffs? I actually do think that they could get that wild card spot. I actually like plus 105 for the Raiders. Oh man, another brain freeze. God, what's his name? The defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He's now the defensive line. Rod Marinelli. He took over as the defensive line coach for the Raiders. And if this is a unit that gets going, Clyde Farrell, the number 4 pick overall in the draft, who looks as a bust right now. Yeah, you're 100% correct, Golden Rooster. And I think so too. Life is a gamble. I think so too. I got the division going Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs win this division by a couple games. But I think the Raiders finish second. I think the Broncos finish third. I think both the Raiders and Broncos will challenge for a wild card. And I think the Chargers finish dead last. I think out of all of these bets, the best ones I would say would be under, over, and I'm going to talk about the Chargers here in just a bit. By the way, if you think the Raiders are going to finish 7-9 again, I don't blame you, but negative 125 is just a bad number. It's just a bad number. The Broncos, people are extremely high on the Broncos. If you want to say the Broncos are a team that's you want to take them to 10-1, not yet. Drew Lock, who went to my high school, Kansas City kid. Life is a gamble. You're right. You're 100% correct. Alex, man. You guys, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, man. You guys all say the same thing I'm seeing. I love Drew Lock. I knew him since he was a junior in high school. People were raving about him. He went to MU. Believe it or not, because if you say a school in Kansas City, Missouri, which is what Lee Summit is, you would think MU makes sense, but he's technically a lot closer to Lawrence, Kansas, closer to KU. It's about 2-hour drive to MU, about 1-hour drive to KU, but it was funny. Well, I'm going off on a tangent. Stop right there. But anyway, Drew Lock's a kid I'm really high on, but the hype's just out of control. He played okay. Yeah, I know they went 4-1, but they did it on defense and running the ball. I think he had 6 touchdowns in 5 games. He's not ready. He's not ready. So, I actually thought he was going to the Raiders at 4 because Gruden coached the Senior Bowl and he was the Senior Bowl MVP, had a great week of practice. I heard Gruden really loved the kid, and I thought he would have been a perfect fit with Gruden, but I think Gruden and Carr are just going to be a match made together. I think they're just going to, kind of be married to each other for a long time. Miami would have been really good with Locke, but I don't know. You know what? I want to argue this with you, Alex, but you're right, because look what you have on the other side. You still got Von Miller, who's I think is the AFC West best defensive player. You got Bradley Chubb on the other side. You have the makings of a really good defense. And then you also had Melvin Gordon. He signed a 2-year deal. Jerry Jeudy was my number 3 player in Oh, you're 100% correct. Your life is a gamble. He was my number 3 player overall. I love Jerry Jeudy, and a lot of people there wanted Ruggs instead of Jeudy. I'm like, are you guys high? And then you also got Sutton on the other side. Noah Fant. In a couple of years from now, Noah Fant's probably going to be the best tight end in football. And life is a gamble. You're 100% correct. You are 100% correct. The Raiders and the Chiefs are going to be there in the 60s. This is the number 1 rivalry in football. This is going to be in the 2020s, one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry. The Raiders got to get up there. Denver Raiders, Denver Chiefs, these are also going to be good rivalries, but I don't think Denver's ready yet. I think they're going to finish better than the Chargers. The Chiefs are going to win this division. The Chiefs are going to compete for the 1 seed. I think the Raiders will compete for a wild card. I think they'll make it. I think Denver's going to compete with a wild card. Remember, you get 3 wild cards this year. There's 7 playoff teams, not 6. So it could be very possible you have Oakland and Denver get in. If you had to say, give me some playoff or give me some wild card teams, I would say Pittsburgh would be my number 1 wild card team. They're going to be a dangerous team if Roethlisberger stays healthy. I would say take the Raiders, and then my 3rd wild card team, it could be Tennessee. It could be Tennessee. It could be Buffalo. I would probably say give me 3 wild card teams. I would probably tell you Buffalo, Tennessee, and Buffalo, Tennessee, and the Raiders. Those would be my 3 wild cards right here. How about I don't know if I don't know how old you are, but Kansas City had a guy by the name of Marty Schottenheimer, and I loved Marty Schottenheimer, but he was guaranteed never to get you to the Super Bowl. But if you wanted to get to the playoffs every year, Marty Schottenheimer was your guy. Life is a gamble. No, I don't like it either. I don't like it either. Next year they're going to 17 games. I don't like that either. I'm in a very, very tiny minority, and I think you would really hate it, but I would love it if football went back in time and went to 14 games and had 2 buys. And then this way you go into the postseason with more players healthy. I don't like, because if you play 17 games, you're going to go into the postseason with at least five starters, and a lot of times you're going to get big name players that are hurt. I don't like this change at all, but it is going to make that wild card weekend, because what they're looking at, and the reason why the NFL did this was that they wanted to go to 3 wild card games on Saturday and then 3 on Sunday. And I get it. It's all about the dollars. I understand it completely, but I don't like it either. So now you get to see the talent. I'm going to go ahead and just take this off. Why don't we just we can stop sharing at this time here. Here we go. All right. So you get to see all this here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a vain guy. What the hell? Oh man. And Alex, I don't like it either, man. I don't like it either. I like the way it is. I like the way it is, or the way it was, the way it is for last year. I forgot they're going to change it this year. Yeah, the 7 playoff games I don't like. I don't like the 3 wild cards. I like the fact that 2. If you remember the year that Tom Brady went out, I think it was 2008. That Patriots team went 11-5 and missed the playoffs. But I like the randomness too. I like the fact that you get a 9-7 division winner. Remember, I think it was 2012. The Seahawks were 7-9 and made the playoffs. Remember, they played defending Super Bowl champion Saints and won that game. Marshall Faulk had that great run. Seattle set like a seismic shake. They swear up and down that their stadium's louder than Arrowhead, even though the decibel meter had Chief Stadium louder. But I'm not sitting here and telling you Seattle doesn't have a loud stadium. It's just not as loud as Arrowhead. That's a fact. And I don't like the playoff format either. But there's a lot of things that are going to change with the NFL over the years, and this is one of them. I will admit though, and I think you'll agree too, Alex, that. And life is a gamble, that when those 3 wild card games start, it's going to be a fun day. I mean, I'm going to love back to back playoff games, and you get 2 straight days of it. You know what? It would not surprise me if the Raiders get that final spot, and the way it would work would be that 7 would play 2, because only one team gets a bye. So the winner of each division would get a bye. It very well could be Chiefs Raiders in the opening round. It could easily be Chiefs Raiders in the opening round. No. Okay, I'm sorry, Golden Rooster. No, there's only one bye. And that's for the 1 seed. It used to be that the 1 and the 2 seed gets a bye. So only the 1 seed gets a bye. And then 2 plays 7, 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5. So and then keep in mind, if you're the division winner, even if you have a worse record, you still get the home field. But keep in mind, same thing happened. Philly was 9-7. They had the home field game against Seattle, which finished 11-5. So that's the advantage of winning the division. There may be a change to that. There's been talks about that for a long time, that even if you win the division, just because you get into the playoffs, maybe you shouldn't have a home game, even if you did win the division. If you don't have that could change as soon as next year. A lot of things are going to change. I've been very vocal on this. I really think that there is a I don't have them winning the division. I think the Eagles are going to win the division. I really think that this is going to be a work in progress. I think they're going to be 8-8. There's a lot of decent. Here's the thing with the NFC. And I tried explaining this to a 49ers fan, and immediately, they're still bitter over the whole Super Bowl thing. I get it. But as soon as you resort to name calling, you're gone. I tried explaining it. The Niners weren't that good of a team, and they resorted to name calling. And when I said they weren't that good of a team, yeah, they went to a Super Bowl, but they would have been in the AFC the 4th or 5th best team. They didn't beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl. They wouldn't have beat Baltimore in the Super Bowl. They definitely wouldn't have beat New England in the Super Bowl. Who's the 4th team? Oh yeah, Tennessee. Well, I don't know. Houston, Tennessee, they would have beaten Buffalo, but would they have beaten Houston? Would they have beaten Tennessee in the Super Bowl? I don't know. If Houston found a way to beat Kansas City and then they played Tennessee, Houston would have beat Tennessee in the AFC Championship, and they would have played San Francisco. I think Houston would have won. I really do. I think the NFC has a lot more 10-win teams. They don't have a great team. The NFC is much more interesting. The AFC, in my opinion, and Alex, you've been gold, so I want to keep you around. But I think the AFC comes down to Chiefs and Ravens. Those are the 2 teams. Exactly. Do you remember the last week of the season, the Texans had all their backups in, and they actually played competitive. God, what's his name? The former Alabama quarterback, your backup. He threw like 4 interceptions. He hasn't started a game in forever. And why can't I remember the kid's name? I'm bad. I'm doing bad with names today, guys. I apologize. But when it mattered, a week 15, wasn't it? The Texans beat the Titans. So yeah, the Texans played the Titans in the AFC Championship game. I think the Texans would have won. And I think the Texans would have beat San Francisco in the Super Bowl. Bottom line, I really do. The Texans did have some problems with their front seven, but Deshaun Watson over Jimmy Garoppolo, easy. So, yeah, I definitely think that. So, yeah, the Jags are tank. Okay. Last year, everybody talked about. You know what? I'll start off like this here. I'm going to start off. Yep. I 100% agree. Let's start off like this. I don't think any NFL team tanks. Last year, everybody said the Dolphins were tanking, and I promised everybody, I swore up and down, the Dolphins are not going winless. The Dolphins are not going winless. And no, you're right. There's a lot of unrest in Jacksonville, but I've been watching a lot of mock drafts. Golden Rooster is gold today, man. I've had some great guests here, man. This live stream's just been fantastic. But yeah, the thing with Jacksonville, keep in mind they have 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s. They unless they go to the playoffs, which I've seen weirder things. But as you know, the line went from them being 12-1 favorites to win the division after Fournette, they're 25-1. So yeah, it's crazy. But bottom line, I don't believe teams tank. Everybody said Miami was going to tank. They started 0-9. They finished 5-4. They were in danger of not getting to who they were rumored to be in love with as soon as like October. Now keep in mind that at the time they were like 0-5 when I kept hearing this tank for Tua stuff. I kept telling everybody, no, Miami is going to win a game. They are definitely not tanking. I don't think teams really tank. I really don't, but Jacksonville does have the draft capital to move up. I think that if oh God, I'm just, maybe I shouldn't drink so much energy drinks here. Minshew magic. Unless Minshew puts up some like crazy numbers, his job's definitely in jeopardy. So you know what, me personally, I don't look good with facial hair. I shave before each show, and it's mainly because I look like I'm 12 because I like patches of hair everywhere. It's goofy. No, okay. I'm actually glad you pointed that out because, I thought that the problem with Houston Texans, I mean, Tunsil's a great talent, but he had to learn a new scheme. I think he led the NFL in like 19 holding penalties, but you also had those small school draft picks in the first and second round. The kid from, I want to say it's Alabama State, Titus Howard, and Max Sherapin, the second round pick out of Northern Illinois. And there was better prospects to take in the draft. So I didn't like it because you drafted 2 small school players where it's just going to take longer for them to learn the nuances and get caught up to the speed of the NFL, especially at tackle. Now, I understand you played left tackle at Alabama State and then you go over to right. I know you were. But I thought it was those rookies. I think the offensive line will be immensely better because you have those small school players. Both those guys are going to be starters. I think Sherapin's the right guard. He may switch over to the left side. You have to give me a heads up. You know what? Since we're here, let me just bust it out real fast here. But you're correct. There are some issues, but I wasn't sure of those injuries. I actually thought it was due to those really young players. Let's see here. Okay, no. Sherpin's going to be on the left side, and he's going to be next to Tunzel, and then Titus Howard's going to be on the right side. So that's what we got here. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a lot of talk about Jacksonville when the owner's a Pakistani, and there was talk about him wanting to move the team to London. There was a lot of talk about that. Then he invested, I think it was like $250 million of his own money into the stadium. They added the swimming pools, which I was told the stadium's beautiful. My sister was there for the season opener last year, and she just said it was gorgeous. She said the stadium was just amazing. She just said it was just insanely hot. I mean, I think it was something like 95 degrees or something like that. And they weren't all red, of course, which was pretty cool. Here's the comment here, man. You guys are gold today. This is without question. I've never had this many good comments in a show. You guys have just been absolutely amazing. I can't thank you enough for all the great comments, all the great questions, the great videos I've come out with. Oh, you know what? I didn't even mention this. When the NFL season starts, I'm thinking about doing a Friday show. I'll keep Wednesday, but I'll just do Wednesday and Friday. And you know what? I live here in Kansas City. I live in a suburb of Kansas City, and we're very blessed because Clark Hunt is one of the NFL's best owners. Lamar Hunt. If you're not familiar, the AFC Trophy is named the Lamar Hunt Trophy after the Chiefs owner who passed away. And almost cussing. You know what? A couple of years ago, the Stones played at Arrowhead, and I went, and it was a great show. It's a great venue. So I'm surprised because I know you live in Florida. I did not know you were at Arrowhead. But, yeah, I saw the Stones there too. It's a great show. Great show. Kind of get back on football here. We're talking about the Rolling Stones, seeing them live. Yeah, you're 100% correct. I mean, the owners of all three of these teams, the only exception is, was it Culverhouse is the owner of Tampa Bay? He's always been somebody who's been willing to spend money. So I kind of like that. I'm not buying into the Tampa Bay hype. I know Mike really says I'm sleeping on him, but I'm not. Ooh, this is another guy. I kind of agree that, but yeah. It's named after Lamar Hunt. Lamar Hunt, Pat Bolin, and Al Davis were the three guys that really founded the AFL. And yeah. Oh, okay. I agree with all that. I got Tampa Bay right at 9-7. Brady really just didn't look the same. Oh, okay. I was going to say, man, I saw him at Arrowhead several years ago, and they put on a fantastic show. The Jacksonville Stadium, I'm told, is just awesome. I'm told it's just awesome. My sister got to go there. I've been to Arrowhead over 300 times. I've never been to an opposing stadium. If the Raiders allow visitors, I will go to Vegas. I'll even watch a game that's not the Chiefs, but obviously I want to see the Chiefs play a road game, and what better place than Vegas. You could not pay me enough to go to Oakland. I heard Denver was really, really cool, but I've also heard horror stories. Of course, you could say the same thing about the Chiefs. I've sat next to opposing fans, and for the most part, I sat next to a Broncos fan who was just awesome last year. I've sat next to some really good Raiders fans. There's this one Raiders fan who was just goofy. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I definitely plan on seeing a road game in Vegas very soon. If Vegas allows fans into their stadium, I will make a trip down there. I would love to go to a Jags game. I would love to see that stadium. Not only that, if you've never been to Kansas, the winters are hell here. I've heard that. I've heard that too. I don't know. I know he's from Pakistan, but the Pakistani owner so far, I think he's done a fine job with Jacksonville. I know that they were trying to institute the Moneyball approach when they're trying to convince people that Blaine Gabbert was a good quarterback when they first got there. And I was like, oh God, this is not going to last long, because sometimes you got to ignore statistics and you got to just look at your eyes. And Blaine Gabbert was a guy that if you were to build an NFL quarterback coming out of college, it would be Blaine Gabbert. The guy was like 6'5", 240, strong arm, he can run, but he just can't play. I know he's still in the league. I thought he was a backup in Arizona. I'm not sure if he's there anymore, but he was a guy, if you watch him play, he didn't have it. John Gruden basically called him a, what's the word I could say? Let's just use the word cat with an SY on the end on Monday Night Football. I mean, he basically just called him that on the air. I was like, damn, Gruden does not like, Gruden was a fantastic host. And whoever said that Gruden and Mayock was going to haunt the Chiefs for a long time, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. That would be awesome. You know what? I may upset some of you, but I remember when Lady Gaga had the halftime show, and I was like, oh God, what are we going to see here? And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. She did a world-class job. I have to give it up to her. That was a great halftime show. I would love to see an Ozzy show. I would love to see an Ozzy show. No, you're 100% correct, Golden Rooster. You're 100% correct. The one thing I have to say is that, okay, we'll talk Tampa here for a little bit. Ronald Jones is key number one, because Peyton Barber, he's now in Washington. Ronald Jones is going to get all those carries. He had about 200 touches last year. Barber, I think, had like 150, 175. Ronald Jones has to have at least a minimum of 300 touches here. I'm not really sure what you're referring to, man. I'm not sure what you're referring to. But Ronald Jones is going to have to get about 300 touches. He's been working on his pass protection, which has to be world class. I thought Brady really took a step back last year. The offensive line has to be good. Remember, they got that rookie from Iowa. He's going to be a starter on the right side. That's going to be key. And then you also have that defense. I know the stats didn't look good, but Tampa Bay's defense has a bunch of young talent. They could be really good, but the key is going to be Ronald Jones in the defense. And because here's the thing about Tampa Bay, you're not getting Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady. You're getting 43-year-old Tom Brady. You're not getting Hall of Fame Rob Gronkowski. You're getting a year retired Rob Gronkowski. I'm kind of curious. By the way, if somebody wants to chime in here, what about O.J. Howard? How has he looked so far? Remember him coming out of Alabama, 6'5", 255, ran a 4.51. He had that national championship game. I think it was 5 catches, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that like 80-yard touchdown. It was like a screen pass. And he just outran everybody to the end zone, even though he's a tight end. Never panned out. That's a guy I was really expecting to hear a lot about. Apparently he's in Bruce Arians' doghouse, but if everything goes right, okay. Oh, yeah. Mike, on the other hand, thinks I'm sleeping on him. So, Mike, I know Mike disagrees. He thinks I'm sleeping on him. I think Tampa Bay's going to be a 9-17. But if everything falls into place, Ronald Jones ends up taking the next step. The defense plays good. Brady stays healthy and just plays okay. Then you're going to get into the playoffs. And bottom line, if they get into the playoffs, they're going to be dangerous. Bruce Arians, he's a good coach. The defense could be special. Ndamukong Suh is a guy, he's made a lot of enemies in the league, and he's pissed off a lot of coaches, but I think that he's a guy whose play deserves to be considered for Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame can at times be a popularity contest, but Ndamukong Suh, he played some damn good football last year in Tampa Bay. He didn't have a lot of sacks, but he's extremely disruptive, and he's going to have a good season. What's his name? Also had 19 and a half sacks last year. He was in Denver. I'm terrible on names. No, I will not, but I'm not going to do that, unfortunately. But what I am going to do starting next week is I'm going to do a Wednesday show, and I'm going to play around and try to do a Friday show. Excuse me. So here's the thing. The future plans starting next week. We're going to do a Wednesday show. We're going to break down the Chiefs. We're going to break down the Texans. We're going to break down some week 1 action. I'm going to have a video talking about all my bets. We're going to talk about all of that. And then Friday, we'll break down the aftermath of the Chiefs, Texans, and we'll break down all the games for week 1. I'll break down every single point spread. And of course, next week on Wednesday, if you join the show, hey, Dan, what do you think about this game? We'll break down all of that. So, look, man, I got some great comments here. The only reason, if they do, well, it's funny. I ran into some Packers fans last year when the Packers played the Chiefs on Monday night, and I told them, Packers fans are great, by the way. Packers fans really know their stuff, and they can be objective. And I told them, it's like, the only thing about Green Bay is I don't think you have a top 10 defense, and they were dead serious. Now, they were drinking. I mean, they're bar hopping. I was doing some Uber trying to make a few extra bucks. And one of them told me, he goes, no, they're not a top 10 defense. They're a top 5 defense. And I'm like, oh, slow down. I don't see Green Bay being a top 10 defense, but I think that they have a good defense, young defense, very young defense. And the thing is, though, they made a mistake. They should have got a receiver on the other hand. They're also missing Eugene Chung, who is a starting safety, underrated player. They also have a few other players. They also lost some players of free agency. The thing is that the Patriots defense is still really good. They also picked up the Texans running back, and man, what the hell is his name? I'm drawing some blanks here. What's his name from the Texans? Went to University of Miami. Oh wow, ESPN doesn't even have him on the roster. Come on here. It's driving me nuts here. I am drawing a complete blank here. What's a running back's name? Went to University of Miami. He was on the Texans, and now he's with the Patriots. Patriots cut Mohamed Sanu. That was something I forgot to mention too. Is I was really surprised to hear about that. Lamar Miller. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Is that right? Is it Lamar Miller? Huh. That's right. It's okay. Yeah, Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller's up in New England. Okay, Golden Rooster, you joined late. I like the Patriots actually to win the East. I like the Patriots to win the East. I love the over/under. Matter of fact, I will, because you asked, and you've been with me for a while here, man. Let's post it up here real fast here, man. We'll do a little share screen action here. The New England Patriots over/under is 9. It's that's right, yeah. Lamar Miller. And Sanu got cut today. Sanu got a second off that trade. Oh, no, I got some good comments I got to go through here, but I just wanted to show you this, the over/under. This is, by the way, one of my favorite bets here, plus 110. Gronk will be better when he's all. You're okay. You are 100% correct, but he's 31. To sit here and say that he's going to be the best tight end in football, I don't see that. He's not going to be the best tight end in football. When healthy, a couple years ago, he's best tight end in football. He's at his ceiling, top 5 tight end. I don't think it's unrealistic. But is he going to be as good as George Kittle or Travis Kelce? The answer is no. And Alex, I'm going to put some action on this game, and I hope that whether win or lose, you join the show. Win or lose, because I will tell you this right now, I can take the losses, and I have no problem saying I'm wrong. By the way, I'm going to talk more about this Wednesday, so hopefully you will join Wednesday. I'm going to release all my bets on a YouTube video. I'm going to try to do it Sunday at noon. but we'll have a show Wednesday at 7, and then we'll have another show Friday at 7. So hopefully, Alex, you can join both Wednesday and Friday because your comments have been absolute gold here. Oh, yeah, that's right. The second round pick for Sanu. Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. And also not because they did. I was going to say they got Alex Hennessy, but they got Alex Hennessy in the third round. The second round pick that they got for that, I remember liking their draft, but I don't remember who their second round pick is. Because I remember Hennessy, they got in the third round. He was worth a second round pick. That was a really good pickup, by the way. I think it's Alex Hennessy out of Temple. He may actually start at a guard this year, but he's going to take over for Alex Mack probably in 2021 as your starting center, and he's going to be a damn good player. But I don't remember who they got in the second round. I'm actually going to look it up real fast because I'm kind of curious. Oh, yeah, Marlon Davidson, the defensive tackle out of Auburn. That is a good pick. And a bunch of guys telling me Lamar Miller here. Yeah. I think week 1 will be needed. Ooh. They had him returning kicks too. Yeah. The Patriots do some weird things. The guy who they signed as defensive coordinator last year to be defensive coordinator, he took the head coaching job at Rutgers, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. He coached Mohamed Sanu at Rutgers. He was the head coach at Rutgers before he took over at Tampa Bay. He was only there for a few years. He claimed that he didn't want to be a defensive coordinator for the Patriots because he wanted to spend more time with his family. And then a few months later, he took the head coaching job at Rutgers. Something happened. I'm not going to speculate, but he was really high on Sanu, and him and Belichick go back a very, very long time. So he kept on talking about him, and that was a big. He had some input into that Mohamed Sanu trade, but I don't know if he was injured or didn't get anything put together. But yeah, he was returning kicks and punts. It'll be interesting. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Don't they play? You know what? I'll talk about all the week 1 matchups. But as far as Mike Evans, I don't think you can shut Evans down. And now there's a possibility Godwin takes over, OJ Howard. Ronald Jones could have a big game. I think, don't they play the Saints? I think the line on that game is like 7 points. I'm pretty sure that's the first game of the season. Let's see here. Let's actually just break up the schedule a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's right. And I'm pretty sure it's Tampa Bay at New Orleans. So Lattimore. Yeah, I mean Lattimore's good. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think Mike Evans to me is just a beast. I've had a man crush on him since he was at Texas A&M, and without Mike Evans, Johnny Manziel doesn't win a Heisman. I almost thought Mike Evans deserved a Heisman more than Johnny Manziel, but Manziel did some amazing things in college. Alex, this is exactly why I want people to join the show. I obviously disagree. I have the Patriots in first place, and I think the Bills will finish second. But you're 100% correct. But one thing the Patriots do is that they adapt and change their system, and that's something they've always been very good at. They never do the same thing twice. I've never been a big Cam Newton fan, but I absolutely respect the talent. And so far, he's done everything the right way, which I'm very pleasantly surprised. I disagree, but hey, man, that's the whole point of this show. This is never going to be the show. Mike, thank you. Greg Schiano. I'm going to post this real fast here. But you're right. That was the guy I couldn't remember his name. You knew who I was talking about. I'm just bad with names. But Alex, that's the best part about this channel is I love it when people give me a thumbs up. By the way, I've been doing this for about an hour and 20 minutes. I haven't even asked yet. I have no idea because I'm looking at the StreamYard's live stream, so I have no idea. But if you haven't yet, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to share this with your friends because this is a great You know what? It's a great show because you guys have made it great. I haven't done anything except looked awesome in a cowboy hat. But I disagree with you. But that's the whole thing. I love it when people come on. Mike had some great comments. I was breaking down all 32 teams, and he's like, "Hey Dan, hey, I respect your opinion and everything, but I got something else." And I'm like, "This is great." I love it when people say, "Dan, you're right. You're great. You're the best. You got the best hat. You look great." Yeah, I love that stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I really love it when I hear people that come on and say something different and have a different opinion, but they have some intelligent things to say. And these are intelligent things. Alex, man, I'm so glad you're here, man. That might be a good thing. I no preseason this year, so it'll be interesting. I've heard he's been playing good. I've been told he's been playing good. Life is a gamble. Thanks, brother, man. I've been told he looks pretty good. I'm really would like to if I was a Tampa Bay fan, I would love to hear more of OJ Howard stepping up. It sounds like they're just going to move on from OJ Howard. And if that's the case, then they'll probably look to draft a tight end in next year's draft. This is a weak tight end draft, so it didn't surprise me that they didn't draft a tight end, but maybe next year, man. Hey, man, Golden Rooster. Hey, man, this is my lucky hat. Okay, I have some weird superstitions. And I always say the same thing. I'm not superstitious, but you guys may not get it. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm not superstitious, but I have some lucky articles of clothing. I have a lucky T-shirt. I have lucky socks. If I buy something brand new, I actually have some shorts I bought in April. They're in a bag, and I'm waiting to wear them when I go to the casino. More than likely, the weather here in Kansas has been weird. Like earlier, like about a week ago, it was like straight 90s. Then it's been like 70s. But if the weather's hot, I'm going to wear the shorts. I've never worn them before. I've been waiting them since April. I always wear brand new clothes to the casino. Take them right out of the bag, pull off all the tags. Brand new clothes. I always wear them to the casino. It's good luck. Oh, man, I can't believe you said that, man. I'm a big Office fan. If you did not realize that this is from The Office, I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, I love The Office. My nephew has a T-shirt with that saying on. So, I mean, the comments I've been getting is absolute gold. But, look, we've been on the air for almost an hour and a half. I am going to rebroadcast this tomorrow at noon. So that way, for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch this, you can go ahead and watch the rebroadcast. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. But I do want to say, listen, hey, you can always email me. If there's a question, you have a comment, please email me. Give me 24 hours. I will get back to you. I am here to help out in any possible way. I do want to end this on some really good bets, some things that I'm going to put action on. My number one bet, and I cannot emphasize this enough, this right here is absolute gold. The Texans over 7.5. If you can get plus 110 or anything close, if you can get even negative 110, this is gold. This is what I'm going to invest my money on. It's what I suggest you put your money on. And let me see. I'm going to answer these comments, and we're going to go ahead and get off the air here. Let me see here. I did try. Yeah, you know what? I was really surprised, Mike. That video took off. I got a couple. I got a couple thousand views on that. I didn't think anybody would watch it. I kind of made it as almost not really a goof, but I thought I would just kind of archive that. I got over 50 comments. I got over 50 people asking, hey, where'd I get the socks? What kind of boots did I get? All sorts of people. And I also, you know what the best part is? I got a lot of people that said thank you, because I cannot tell you how many times some idiot wears 3 pairs of socks. They have no wiggle room in their feet. And at 10 minutes into the first quarter, my feet are freezing. I wore 3 pairs of socks. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Okay, here I am cussing here. I was keeping it clean here. Didn't 30-30. Yes. Okay. Actually, it's a great comment. I mentioned this. I helped out my buddy. If you do fantasy football at all, and I know life is a gamble, if you do fantasy football, if Winston starts any game, this is a fantasy football must. This is a fantasy football must. If he starts any game, even if it's week 17 for a nothing game, you got to start Winston. He's on a 1-year deal. All right, he's on a 1-year deal, but here's the thing. He had Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter, did you know that Dirk Cutter got Andy Reid into coaching? Did you know that? That's how they go back like 30 years. So Dirk Cutter was his offensive coordinator when he was drafted, and then he was going to get a head coaching job. So the Bucks they fired Lovie Smith. He's now at University of Illinois because they wanted to groom Winston. But Winston, if you watch the Hard Knocks with Tampa Bay, you could just tell Winston does not have the maturity of an NFL quarterback. He does not have a maturity of an NFL quarterback. And yeah, you're right. I mean, if he starts any game and you do fantasy football, you have got to start this guy. But how will they develop him? This will be very interesting because you had Dirk Cutter. This is the point I was going to get. You had Dirk Cutter. You had Bruce Arians. And now you have Sean Payton. You have three of the best offensive minds in the history in the National Football League working with a kid who has unlimited talent. I mean, this guy had a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He's 6'5", he's 230. He's not an athlete, but he can move. He's not a statue back there. He can make some plays with his legs. He's basically everything that you want from the neck down. He's got an amazing arm. He's got all talent in the world. He just doesn't have maturity. And he's had three phenomenal coaches working with him. He has got to learn something from Sean Payton because he's only on a 1-year deal. I think he'll be gone. And I think he'll go to a team that wants a backup quarterback. And it'll be interesting to see where he goes. We didn't talk about this, and this goes down a whole new rabbit hole, but there's a chance that after this year, Aaron Rodgers is gone from Green Bay. I wouldn't be surprised if Winston goes to Green Bay as a backup to the kid out of Utah State. And since I'm terrible with names, I'll just let's just call him the kid out of Utah State. That's a possibility. He could go somewhere that just needs a backup quarterback. Sometimes don't be surprised if there's a team with a starter that goes down week 1 if the Saints trade Winston for a draft pick or a player. There's a lot of teams we could speculate, but if you had to put a gun in my head, what's going to happen with Winston? I think he'll leave the Saints. Now, if Breeze goes down and Winston plays good, could Winston sign like maybe a 3-year deal? I mean, if it's a catastrophic injury that ends Breeze's career, or Breeze says, hey, look, I'm done with football. But here's the thing about Breeze. I mean, Breeze is 40 and he's shown, he missed 5 games last year, but he's shown no signs of slowing down. I think Breeze, if he's healthy, he'll stay there for another several years. Winston, I think, will be gone. But he needs to learn something. He needs to learn something from Drew Brees. He needs to learn something from Sean Payton. And wherever he goes in 2021, he needs to take all that information with him because he's got all the talent in the world. He just hasn't been able to. I think it's a problem with the neck up. I think it's a problem with the neck up. I think what it is that he just doesn't know how to read defenses. He's relied on that arm. Oh, yes. Okay. This is a good point. Nobody in Kansas City was expecting them to sign Chris Jones. Nobody. And what's going to happen with this is that, that's what you're going to look at. Now, a lot of these are backloaded contracts and things like that. There is some money that's going to come off the books. One thing about the Kansas City Chiefs, the left tackle, he's never lived up to Eric Fisher. He's never lived up to being the number 1 pick in the draft. He will be gone probably next year. They drafted a guy in the 3rd round, Louis Nang, out of TCU, probably my favorite draft pick. A really, really promising tackle. However, he's sitting out for doesn't want to play due to COVID-19 and all that, and all the power in the world to him. I understand, but sitting out, that's really going to hurt the Kansas City Chiefs because the plan was you have to find a way to save money. And he's making, I think it's like 12 or 13 million a year, and he's just an average left tackle. You could say he's above average at best. He went to the Pro Bowl once, but he's never going to live up to being the first pick in the draft. Mitchell Schwartz on the right side is one of the best right tackles in football, but he's also 31. He makes about $7 million a year. He's another guy that sooner or later Chiefs are going to have to cut ties with. It wouldn't surprise me if Nang is the starting left tackle in 2021, and the Chiefs find other ways to shave money. The Honey Badger, when his contract, he signed a 3-year deal. It wouldn't surprise me if next season he restructures or if he's gone. It could be a trade. The Chiefs, another thing the Chiefs have done is that they don't spend money on corners. Our number one corner is going to be gone for the first 4 weeks of the season. That's another thing to watch out for, because if the Texans do surprise a lot of people and win that game, that's something Chiefs fans will point to. But it is something. You are right. You are right. But the Chiefs are making moves in play. That's part of the reason why the GM was signed to a 6-year deal, because he is making moves. But yeah, they signed a lot of players, so a lot of big name contracts. And anytime you do this, what happens is depth is a problem. And the Chiefs only had 5 draft picks. They traded back into the 7th round. They gave up a 6th round pick in 2021, a move I didn't like. But if this guy makes a team and helps out, then more power to him. So I think it's, like I said, it's just Winston, and he's just hasn't learned to play NFL quarterback, hasn't learned to read defenses, do the things he needs. But all the talent in the world. Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for the comments. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Share this content with your friends. And, hey, listen, I'm going to rebroadcast this tomorrow at noon. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, you can watch it again. Or if you want to watch it again, I would love it. So, hey, man, until next week, don't forget to check out my video of all my bets at the casino. I'll be wearing a hat. I'm going to do my best to have that released Sunday at noon. And then, of course, the DAN show will be live Wednesday at 7 p.m. Excuse me. I will see